The early morning sun spilled gently across the silent neighborhood. Outside, everything looked peaceful, but within that newly painted house, a moment of heartbreak was unfolding, one that would change lives forever. Tears glistened in the tired eyes of an elderly man as he gripped two old suitcases. Everything he owned, neatly packed and resting beside the door he had once built with his own hands. His son, Marcos, stood rigid in the doorway, his face hardened by a pride he didn't fully understand. Beside him stood his wife Sarina, arms folded tightly, a faint look of victory resting on her lips. "It's time for you to leave, father," Marcus said coldly, though his voice shook under the weight of guilt. Arthur said nothing. He didn't argue. His shaking hands and the heavy silence spoke louder than any words ever could. The same love that once laid every brick of that home was now replaced by ego, silence, and betrayal. If you still believe kindness, forgiveness, and second chances have meaning in this world, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to World of Kindness. Your support helps stories like this remind humanity that broken hearts can still be healed. Arthur stepped away from the house that once echoed with joy and laughter. Every step down the driveway felt like his heart was being left behind. Neighbors watched quietly. Some whispered, others looked away. No one intervened. It was a world where suffering was noticed, but rarely stopped. With nowhere else to go, Arthur wandered through the town park as the day faded into night. His back ached, his breathing grew shallow, but the deepest pain came from one thought. The child he had raised with endless love now saw him as a burden. Back inside the house, Marcos celebrated what he believed was a fresh start. Serena wrapped her arms around him, whispering that life would finally be free without old baggage. She had always viewed Arthur as an obstacle, an outdated presence that didn't fit her polished, modern life. Marcus told himself it was necessary. He convinced himself his father would be happier somewhere else, maybe in a care home. But late at night, when silence filled the rooms, a quiet voice crept into his thoughts. You were wrong. Days turned into weeks. Marcus's business began to collapse. Deals failed. Sleep abandoned him. Serena's affection faded, replaced by bitterness and blame. Their mornings turned into arguments. Ever since your father left, everything has gone wrong, she snapped one evening. Maybe you're cursed. Her words pierced Marcus deeply, not because they were cruel, but because they echoed what he feared was true. One stormy night, after another explosive argument, Marcus stormed out and drove aimlessly through rain-soaked streets. The downpour blurred his vision until his headlights caught a faint figure walking along the roadside. He slammed on the brakes. There, soaked and trembling, stood an old man clutching two familiar suitcases. "Father," Marcus whispered, stepping out of the car, his heart racing. Arthur looked up slowly, his face thin and pale. Time seemed to freeze. Then, something unexplainable happened. The rain stopped mid-air. A soft golden light flooded the darkness. A man dressed in white stood nearby, radiating a peace so powerful it silenced the world itself. Marcus fell to his knees, trembling. "You cast aside love," the man said gently, yet with an authority that shook Marcus's soul. "The love that raised you, protected you, and forgave you long before you understood forgiveness." Marcus wept uncontrollably. He knew who stood before him without needing proof. Jesus turned toward Arthur and placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. Strength flowed through the old man, replacing pain with warmth. "Your heart was wounded," Jesus said softly, "but your love never failed, and love that endures will always rise again." Then he faced Marcus. "A house without kindness is built on dust. Go and repair what you broke. Let your heart learn how to love again." The light faded. The rain returned. Marcus reached for his father's hand. "Forgive me," he sobbed. Arthur looked at him with no anger, only compassion. "A son's heart can lose its way," he said quietly, "but it can always find its way back." Marcus helped him into the car. When they returned home, Serena stood frozen in the doorway. "This is my father," Marcus said firmly. "This is his home. If that's a problem, then I'll leave with him." Serena said nothing. Within days, she packed her bags and left. For the first time in years, Marcus and Arthur sat together at the dinner table. No long speeches, just a silence filled with forgiveness. Life slowly changed. Marcus's business recovered, but more importantly, his heart healed. He began attending church each Sunday, not to ask for success, but to give thanks. Arthur grew stronger, his laughter returned, and the house filled once more with something no wealth could buy. Peace. One evening, as golden sunlight streamed through the windows, Marcus looked at his father and smiled. "I thought I was building a new life," he said softly, "but I was destroying the only one that mattered." Arthur placed his weathered hand over his son's. "Now, you're building it the right way." If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to World of Kindness. Your support keeps stories of love, forgiveness, and redemption alive. Before you go, tell us in the comments, what lesson did the story teach you today? As the sun set beyond the window, Marcus finally understood. No matter how far a heart wanders, when love returns, it brings heaven's light back home.